welcome back to the Angels here on MLB The Show 25, and as you can see, we are here, ready for the 2028 season. It is early March. Before we kick off our season here against the Tampa Bay Rays on March 23rd, we will be going over what this team looks like. So, start things off with the pitching side of things. The rotation 1 to 5 is Shane McClanahan, Caden Dana, Reed Detmers, George Klassen, and Andres Rivera. We got that nice lefty-righty, lefty-righty-lefty mix. More lefties than righties in our rotation. And then in the bullpen, the long man is Hans Kraus. In the middle relief roles, it will be Ryan Johnson, Nick Mears, Jose Quijada, Sam Bachman, Griffin Jacks in the setup role, along with the lefty setup man and Matt Strahm. And then closing things out will be Ben Joyce in the back end of the bullpen. So then taking a look at our hitting side of things, the lineup against right-handed pitching is going to be Edouard Julien leading things off at first base, then Nolan Schanuel, William Contreras, Brandon Lau in the cleanup spot, Brooks Lee hitting fifth and playing short, Mike Trout in right field, Reggie Coffey in left field, Chandler Simpson is the everyday center fielder now, and then Zach Neto playing third base hitting ninth. Well, against lefties, it's going to be Chandler Simpson leading things off because he's got a decent bat against lefties, and we just want to get his bat at the top of the order there. And then it's Nolan Schanuel, Reggie Coffey in the 3 spot, Contreras cleanup, Brooks Lee still hitting fifth, Curtis Mead is the one we are going to be platooning at first base against lefties. I know in the offseason video I mentioned Brewer Hicklin. That was because I totally forgot about Curtis Mead, but we are going to be playing him and Edouard Julien in a platoon at first. Zach Neto is third base, Brandon Lau at second, and Mike Trout rounding things out in right field. Well, on the bench, aside from the Mead and Julien platoon, it is Richie Palacios as a utility guy, required from the A's in the offseason, or the Rays rather, from the offseason. Wensteel Perez is now a utility guy, center field backup sort of player, and then Kyle McCann is our backup catcher / first baseman. The other thing I should mention is that from this point on, I will no longer be playing the games. Now, I'm still going to be showing the games, don't worry about that, but we will be doing CPU versus CPU games. I don't personally think that's going to be a huge deal for anybody. I don't think anybody is tuning into this channel to watch how good I am at hunting 3-1 counts or something like that. I just don't think that's the appeal of this channel. The gameplay has never been the focus from whoa, look how skilled I am, bro, sort of style. And I just don't enjoy actually playing this game anymore. So I figured why not try to make it like a CPU sort of thing whenever I do check-ins on games and we show actual games and it's just an even playing field and you don't get me being able to pitch well some games, pitch terribly other games. Sometimes I just don't play this game for 2 weeks because I'm recorded ahead, and then I hop on and my timing is completely off for the next 3 episodes because I'm just not in the groove. And for those curious, we are playing on Hall of Fame for everything for the hitting and the pitching, and then here are the sliders that I will quickly just scroll through. It's the same for human and CPU, obviously. If you want to pause and look at exactly what this is, you can do that, but just quickly to wind through here. And then, as I've mentioned with the trade frequency, I adjust that as the season goes on. The beginning of the season, it'll just be 1 tick up. It is time to kick off the 2028 baseball campaign as the Los Angeles Angels play and host to the Tampa Bay Rays here in Anaheim as the left-hander, formerly of the Tampa Bay Rays, Shane McClanahan, is the opening day starter here for the Angels. We'll start things off top half of the first inning with the former Angel playing his former club, Ha-Seong Kim, spitting on ball 4, getting a walk, and then proceeding and going swipe second base as well. He's in scoring position. Caballero would then strike out on McClanahan's fastball for out number 1, but then the next batter up is Trey Morgan, the former LSU Tiger, who spits on ball 4, so second walk of the inning here for McClanahan, makes it first and second with 1 out for Jonathan Aranda, who deposits a middle fastball into that tunnel in right field. A 3-run blast as the Rays are immediately up in this one 3-0. Move things on to the top of the 4th here as Lane Thomas puts a charge into one to right center field, but Chandler Simpson showing off the speed, tracking that one down for the first out. And then he would show off the fleet feet again here in for the 3rd out, getting the one in the right center field gap there. So Taj Bradley was the opening day starter for Tampa Bay. here, him on the hill. Bottom 4th, William Contreras getting the Angels on the board. Welcome to Anaheim. The new long-term catcher here for the Angels with a screamer into the bullpen in left field makes it a 3-1 ball game, as then another new player, Edouard Julien. Are you going to rule again? The answer is yes. Hits one off that dumb wall in right field, as another solo shot makes it a 3-2 game here for the Angels. They were within 1, but then McClanahan, getting himself into a bit of trouble here in the top of the 6th inning, gives up a ground rule double to Lane Thomas to lead off the inning, as then Ryan Johnson, or not lead out, but 2 outs in the inning, as then Ryan Johnson comes on out of the bullpen, the Dallas Baptist man. So with a runner in scoring position, another former Angel, Luis Arias, pokes one out into right field. That's going to score the runner from second base, as it's now a 4-2 ball game. We're now on to the top of the 7th, where Ryan Johnson, with 2 outs, once again gives up a hit here to Ha-Seong Kim, the Angels' former shortstop. Then goes and swipes second base, so he's in scoring position, as this time Caballero is going to one doing the damage, grounds one into left field. That's going to make it a 5-2 ball game, as the Rays are now back on top by multiple runs. Move things on to the bottom of the 7th, where the Angels would not go away. Tim Herron, the lefty on for the Rays, giving up an absolute bomb to Zach Neto. The former Campbell Fighting Camel rips one, makes it a 5-3 game. Another solo shot here for the Angels, and they weren't done there. Kevin Kelly comes on here for the Rays in the bottom of the 8th, facing Brandon Lau against his former club, Adios Pelota. This one is absolutely tattooed into the right field seats, 429 off the bat. The 4th solo home run of the day for the Halos makes it a 5-4 ball game, as then they're trying to tie it back up. Brooks Lee goes out to left field, still nobody out, brings up Mike Trout, gets a hanging sweeper that he somehow just pops up into right field. Runner still at first base with 1 out now, Reggie Coffey, then grounds one to first. Trey Morgan bobbles it a bit, gets the lead runner, but then Coffey beats it out on the back end, keeping the inning alive. That would end Kelly's day, as Edwin Uceda then comes on out of the pen for Tampa Bay. Here with 2 outs and a runner on first base, Chandler Simpson chops it at the shortstop. They're not even going to bother trying to go to first. They go the short way, get to the end of the inning. So then bottom 9, Zach Neto tries to work a walk here, spits on a 3-2 pitch, turns out it's strike 3. He is furious about it. And with the next batter up, Edouard Julien grounds right into the third baseman Arias, who is guarding the lines, and then Sean Noel would not be able to lay off the changeup, as Uceda works a 1-2-3 inning in the 9th inning, as he closes the door here for the Rays, and the Angels drop this one by a score of 5-4 here on opening day. A heartbreaking loss. The 4 solo home runs were just not enough to overcome the Rays offense in this one. Ha-Seong Kim picks up player of the game honors against his former club, as he goes 2 for 4 on the day. And then Shane McClanahan obviously gets the loss, gives up 4 runs in 5 2/3, does strike out 6, only gives up 4 hits, but he does walk 3 on the day, and then of course gives up that 3-run blast, as well as being responsible for the Luis Arias RBI single in the 6th inning. Alrighty, folks, so April, bit of a mixed bag. You can see we're currently sitting at 16-18 on the season. Not exactly where we want to be. Got off to a really horrible start. You can look here, season started March 23rd, and just ripping off a ton of L's here to start the season. So we've been playing catch-up ever since these first 3 series against Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore. Luckily rebounding with a series win against Milwaukee, against the Astros on the road, having a good road trip, but then dropping a set to the Mariners, taking a set over San Francisco, taking a set on the road over Texas, and in the road over Colorado at Coors Field, taking one over, or splitting a 4-game set with Texas. And now it is time for a rubber match against the Houston Astros here to close out the month of May. Or to close out the month of April, rather, to move on into the month of May. And just a quick roundup of how some of the bats have been doing. What do you know? Nolan Schanuel, folks. Did they update his likeness? I swear his face looks different. They must have updated his likeness in a recent patch, but Nolan Schanuel here off to an incredible start to the season. 4-digit OPS, doing what he does, incredible. Reggie Coffey has gotten off to a blazing start here so far in 2028 as well. We're hoping for a big season from him. William Contreras on his first stint here, or not first, I should say. I guess first stint with the Angels, obviously, but not that we're planning on having a second stint. William Contreras here as a new Angel, having a great 2028 so far. Hopefully that can continue for us. Mike Trout's gotten off to a blazing start. Love to see that. Obviously already regressing, but hopefully he can continue to hit well as the season goes on. And then on the pitching side of things, really our rotation's kind of been struggling. You could see here lots of colds between Dana, Klassen, and Detmers, but McClanahan and Rivera, the two lefties of, we have three lefties, but two of our lefties here in McClanahan and Rivera have been fantastic to start the season. McClanahan got roughed up a bit in that opening day start, but since then he's been cruising, he's been chilling, and Andres Rivera for 40 and 2/3 innings has been great. Sub-3 ERA and a sub-3 FIP. Love to see it. Please just stay healthy this season. The Angels back at home here in Anaheim, taking on the Houston Astros, an interdivision foe. Toeing the slab for the Alos on the day will be the left-hander Andres Rivera, making his 7th start of the season. Take a look at the Astros lineup he'll be facing, listed 1-9 on the day. We'll start things off top half of the second inning. Jeremy Pena, the former Maine Black Bear, going down the left field line. That's going to be a one-out double as he's in scoring position for the Stros. And then it's old friend Lamont Wade coming up to the dish, but fortunately he is not going to drive in the runner. But Cam Smith is. Going at the center field, they had him played deep, so he bloops it in front of Simpson, and the Astros strike first to make it a 1-0 game. Spencer Arrighetti on the bump for the Astros for the 7th time this season. As then in the bottom of the second, Brooks Lee going out to right center field, getting that down and in fastball and clubbing it off that dumb wall in right field. Ties the game up with a solo shot, makes it a 1-1 ball game here, and they were not done there. As the Fish legend goes yard, so does the Millville Meteor. Mike Trout going out to right field. That's out of here. Back-to-back home runs for the Halos, a big fly as Mike Trout continues to be hot to start this season. As then here, showing off some luck in the bat, bloops it up against the shift, lands in for a base knock, and then hustles his way to second base, slides around the tag. Beautiful stuff there from Trout, showing some hustle, and then goes and swipes third base, or attempts to. The throw is an E2, goes out into the outfield. Trout scores, makes it a 3-1 ball game here. Move things on to the top of the 6th, where Rivera was cruising for most of the day, but then here in the 6th, walks Altuve to lead off the inning, and then Yordan Alvarez. You ever seen this guy hit a big home run before? I don't know. But here comes up big. 2-run blast makes it a 3-3 game, tied up here off the big home run from Alvarez. Move things on to the bottom of the 7th, where Chandler Simpson, leading off the inning, lays down a bunt third base line. Somehow they throw him out at first base here to lead off the inning, as then with 2 outs, Edouard Julien comes up, puts a charge into one to left center field, but it would be caught right before the track by Alvarez. Move things on to the bottom of the 8th. It's Brian King, the lefty, coming on here for Houston for the 13th time this season. And with 2 outs, Brandon Lau going down the left field line, committing some lefty-on-lefty crime there. Gets his fleet feet into center, not so fleet feet, into second base, is showing off not so fleet feet as he somehow does not move up on the missed cutoff man there, as then they intentionally walk Brooks Lee to make it first and second, giving it to Mike Trout, who then pops it up in the infield. Nothing going for the Angels. Still 3-3, move things on to the bottom of the 9th, where the Marlins legend Keegan Akin comes on out of the bullpen. First batter up, Reggie Coffey, dices him up, pieces it up on that outside half, strike 3. Then it's Chandler Simpson whiffing through the fastball. Back-to-back Ks would then bring up Zach Neto, as he is patient and draws a walk. So the go-ahead run is at first base, brings up Edouard Julien, and then the Angels do not pinch hit for him against the lefty. He strikes out. It's going to extra innings. So 3-3 here, Ben Joyson, 2 outs, 3-2 count after like 8 million foul balls. Then Dalton Varsho goes down the line and makes it a 4-3 game. So Josh Hader on to the bottom of the 10th, looking for the save here for Houston. With one out, William Contreras grounds one through the right side of the infield, makes it a first and third ball game as they do not send the runner. So it's our first and third situation is then they try the squeeze and it does not work. Lau misses the bunt, runner is tagged out at the plate. So it's 4-3 here, still 2 outs now, as then Brandon Lau flies one into left field, and that would be your ball game. Just some brutal managerial decisions from the Angels down the stretch there, not pinch hitting for Julian, and then the terrible squeeze attempt, and then honestly not even sending the runner on that ground ball into right field. That was probably even a smart play to do that, but they do not do any of those things. And they drop this one 4-3 to the Houston Astros, as just a heartbreaking loss for the Halos here at home. Now I should mention, I do know that the AI will actually do subs, because they do pitching changes when you're in the CPU versus CPU games, and I have seen them do pinch hit appearances, but one thing I have noticed is that they will not change your lineup day to day. So if you have a guy who's super tired, they will not change your lineup. So what I've started doing after the first couple of games, you'll see, is I start going into games as playing as my team, and then before the first pitch, I'll change the team select in the middle to be CPU versus CPU, so I can at least set the lineup that I want for that day. And then I'll do the same thing if there's ever like a big spot in the future, like Edouard Julien is hitting in a big spot against a lefty and the AI is not pinch hitting for him, I will intervene and make that decision. But I thought it was just so obvious there, and I don't know, I just never intervened there, and Julien goes then swinging in that big spot. Obviously, I'm not going to be the one making decisions on like the squeeze they went for. That was just entirely just a ballsy move that did not pay off. But I just wanted to mention that I do know that there is a way to do the team select thing, so you can make some moves in game and get the lineup all set. I have figured that out, but the first couple of games you'll see here with the CPU versus CPU, I did not quite figure that out yet, but I do eventually figure that out. But with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of The Angels here on MLB The Show 25. I've been your host, JerseyBorn, and I am saying, Archers of Loaf.